This episode is proudly sponsored by Indigenous Business Australia, who serves, partners and invests with Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people who want to own their own future.
Black Magic Woman podcast acknowledges the traditional owners of the land we have recorded this episode on. We also acknowledge traditional owners of the land where you, the listener or viewer, are tuning in from. We would like to pay our respects to our elders past and present and acknowledge that this always was Aboriginal land and always will be Aboriginal land.
Welcome to the Black Magic Woman podcast with Mundanara Bayles.
Lacey, thank you so much for jumping on to the Black Magic Woman podcast as part of IBA's Strong Women, Strong Business. Can you please share with my listeners, but also now our viewers on YouTube, tell us a little bit about yourself, so your name, your mob, and where did you grow up?
Thank you for having me. I am a proud Kamilaroi and Big and Bull woman. My mum and dad were born and raised in St. George, Queensland. As a child, we moved around a lot. Dad went into the mines when I was quite young, so we lived on Groote Island, Telfer, Perth, Jabiru.
Wow.
And then when I was 9, we moved to Townsville, and that's where I kind of settled down, stayed beyond mum and dad. They moved to Weipa. We had quite an adventurous childhood and a beautiful 6 years in Jabiru, which is some of my biggest childhood memories. So many beautiful spots to see.
And do you have brothers and sisters?
Yeah.
Or is it just you?
I have 2 brothers and 1 sister, my older sister and older brother and younger brother.
And what about, are you married or do you have kids?
Yes, I have a beautiful husband.
Who we always, we've never mentioned the husbands.
He is my high school sweetheart. We met when I was 14 and started dating, and got married when we were 22, and had 3 beautiful children, Sadie, Clay and Weston. Sadie's 6, Clay is 5 and Weston's 2.
Wow.
Beautiful.
You've got 3 under 6.
Yes.
Okay.
But we love the chaos.
You know, for a lot of mob though, chaos is normal.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, it's like if there's not, so I live in a house with my husband and my kids, and if it's too quiet, I actually feel a little bit like, it's not that I'm uncomfortable, it's my house.
Yeah.
But I grew up with 8 sisters, 3-bedroom house, and sometimes there was 21 people. And how do I know? Because mum would tell you to go and count everyone to know how many plates to put on the table. Yeah. And on this table, on the benches, the plates were everywhere. And then you had to wash up. So 21 people in one 3-bedroom house, that chaos and noise and speaking over each other and also sleeping over each other was normal.
Yeah, we love it. We love that we had them close together.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful to see them grow up together and their little relationships. I think they're going to be good friends. Yeah.
Lovely. So you're living in Townsville now?
We are living in Middlemount, Central Queensland. We moved there 5 years ago. We made that decision because Brody is in the mines. And I was on maternity leave with Clay. He was 6 months old and I was just about to go back to work and I just wasn't quite ready. We were struggling with him going away every week, and the opportunity came for us to all be together, and it was just an opportunity we couldn't say no to while the kids are young. So we made the big move to Middlemount. It's only a small rural community, but it's a beautiful community to be in. And yeah, we've been there for 5 years. We had a 2-year plan, but we've gone beyond that. We had Weston, and we've grown our business from there. So yeah, it's been it was a good decision.
Yeah. And in terms of growing your business, I heard today that you actually started a business before you started the business that you're currently invested in. And the reason why I guess IBA have got you on their list that, kind of let us know that you're somebody that they would love to share the story of your journey. What was your first business? And even before your first business, did you actually always want to go into business, or did it just happen? How did you, because I did not even imagine, even at the age of 30, that I would ever go into business or start a business or be a business owner.
Yeah.
It was just, my aunt had a yarn with me. I said, I'm going to help you out. And 10 years later,
Yeah.
I'm in business.
Yeah, I think I was always going to be in business. I remember when I was like 5, I used to draw landscaping photos for my parents to tell them what kind of yard I wanted with the big flash cubby house and stuff. It was very unrealistic, but I had a lot of ideas.
And an amazing imagination.
Yeah.
You were actually visualising.
So I think that that was always going to be my journey, but it wasn't always my journey. I did start work young. I decided to leave school in year 10, and I started working for government agencies, which I also loved. I feel like I got a lot of good opportunities and experience through that, but I was always drawn to having my own business, and I didn't know what that looked like, but I do love fashion and clothing, so that was something that I wanted to dive into. I didn't know what that would look like. The dream was to always have a shop, but the opportunity to have online was becoming possible at the time that I started. I was 18, so I think that was 2010. I'm not sure, but...
Are you saying that you actually launched your first business at 18?
Yes. That's
wow.
When I first started my clothing business. It was a clothing boutique, and we had, I think I had a couple of stockers. It was really hard to find good wholesalers at that time because the online platform was still so new. People weren't trusting online at that time. You never knew if you were going to receive it or if it was a dodgy website. It was a very interesting time to be online, and I learned a lot during that time.
I want to go back one step. Was there anyone in your family or community that was in business at the time where you was like, well, they're doing it, I can do it? As an 18-year-old, because I can't believe, it doesn't matter that you're an Aboriginal woman in business, just for young people at the age of 18 to know what they want to do is one thing, but to do it is another.
Yeah, my sister, she had a salon. She does nails and she still has her beautiful salon now. So she was definitely...
What's her salon? Where is she? We can actually give her a plug.
The Good Glow Club in Townsville. So it's a beautiful salon. She does beautiful nails and she's very experienced. She's been going since before I was 18. So I think she's 17 years in nails. So very good.
Wow.
In Townsville.
Before nails became as trendy as they are today.
Definitely, yeah. They've come a long way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's moved with it as well, so.
So your sister had her business.
Yes.
Did she support you? Did you go to her for advice? Or you was just doing it while she was running her business?
Yeah, it just made me realise that it's possible, I guess. So we did that and I loved it. I think we had Hyper Paradise for 6 years. And I just wasn't happy with the quality of clothes that I was producing. We were struggling to get good wholesalers. So I knew that I needed to create something of my own and something to be proud of because I wasn't proud to be talking about my business. I don't think it had a meaning behind it yet. So that's why when I decided to start Barada Barna Country, it was the right direction for me. It felt very right.
So what was the moment that made you shut the shop and take another path or just a change of direction?
Yeah, when I had my daughter, Sadie, I think that was a big moment for me. Our lifestyle had changed and I was ready to make a change. I knew that it was standing still and it was like my opportunity to change directions. So it was a good time.
starting a business at 18, 6 years trading, then the baby comes along, then you decide to start another business. Some people that are watching this will be like, is she serious?
Yeah.
How have you been able to manage being a mum, being a business owner, looking after the house because you got the 2-year-old there? I would assume because your husband doesn't have to travel, that he's there helping as well. How do you juggle things? Because a lot of people, even without children, struggle with business.
Yeah.
Especially in the early days, to set the business up, to get the wheels in motion, to get them turning, to get people to buy from you.
I think it's just the love, and I think if you love what you do, then anything's possible. That's the motivation behind everything, and I absolutely loved it. I wanted it to work. I wasn't going to let it fail. And yeah, that was my motivation to keep it going. And yeah, just the love for it all.
It's deep love.
Yeah.
I know there's a story behind it, and one day people might learn about the story behind it. But you've got, I heard, 60 different designs?
We have our designs, which are all hand drawn, and
who does the drawings?
We have a designer.
Yeah.
And I design all of our manufactured stuff as well. Mm-hmm. So it's a big process, but it's been a good journey, a lot of learning curves, and yeah, it's just grown.
So the range it's country boho. Mm-hmm. I love it. And there's obviously a big gap in the market for country boho clothing, especially in rural communities where you live. T-shirts, jackets, jeans, what's some of the clothes that you've created?
Yeah, so when we first launched, we were launching just T-shirts for men, and men were actually going to be our market, and we went in thinking we were just going to be a men's country clothing brand, but we soon realised that women wanted our designs as well, and they were purchasing the men's T-shirts, and I just could not handle that. So I was like, no, I need to make women's clothing as
more
well.
Fitting.
Yeah. So it wasn't long before I was designing stuff for women as well and children. So we have T-shirts. I've just released a skirt and a kimono, but our T-shirt designs are what our customers love, and there's lots more to come. So I'm excited to show everyone what I've been working on, because it's been an exciting year.
And is everything online? So now people can actually go to your website or go to Instagram?
Yeah, so we have our online store, buckwildcountry.com.au, and
make sure you go and support Lacey's business.
And we also have Instagram, Buckwild Country. And
do people post on Instagram and then tag you?
Yeah,
at different events and stuff like that?
We've got a beautiful community. Yeah.
And in terms of the people that are wearing your clothes, are you finding that they're people that don't necessarily live in the country?
We send our clothes all over Australia. We've sent over 10,000 orders to date. And we have also sent overseas. So that's our growing market.
Yeah, because the Americans...
Yeah.
I grew up in a country music family. My dad was the CEO of a country music radio station.
Yeah.
And we got to, well, I didn't, but my dad did, every country music concert you could think of. They would come to the Aboriginal radio station, which was the only country music radio station in Brisbane. And my dad or whoever was working would interview them. Yeah. So I remember the day my dad came home and the Dixie Chicks were at the radio station.
So good, they're my
we just referred to it as, people in Brisbane would just call it Murray Radio. So Willie Nelson, the Dixie Chicks, I'm pretty sure Shania Twain.
Yeah, wow.
Came because their record labels, needed to get their music on the radio, and here's an Aboriginal radio station.
Yeah.
So I grew up with country music playing on my dad's radio in the car. We went to every Gympie muster. There was a Mud Bulls and Music event, which was all about mud bulls and music. All this kind of country, all these country folk would get together And I would invite some of my friends along. And I can tell you now, I always said, we do not fit in. We're not dressed like these fellas are. We don't have the R.M. Williams boots.
Yeah.
We do not have a Kubras. And all of them had the big jackets. What are they called? Dryser bones.
Yes.
So you go to these big festivals and I'm like, man, we need to look the part. So country music would be a big part of...
Yeah, I think it's been a big influence on our brand. We love country music too.
Yeah.
And I think it's changed a lot in Australia. It's become very popular. Western fashion has become popular in Australia. So we definitely came in at a really good time. There was a gap, especially for Western boho, and that's my passion as well. I love Western, I love boho, so combining them was really easy.
Well, I would have bought some of that 20 years ago, going to the Gympie Muster, working in a country music radio station.
Yeah.
But back then, to me, it was just jeans, and I never wore a pair of jeans in my life. It was just jeans and the long sleeve, button up.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know, that's not how I want to dress. So having the boho mixed with the country, you've definitely, like you said, there's a gap in the market. How have you been able to kind of, I don't know, keep your business going despite all of the things that have been happening in the world? How was you able to get by?
I think I used COVID as like a motivation. It really motivated me to push through, to pivot, to do what I needed to do to get my business through that period. And in a way, I think we were busy during that time. People were shopping online more than ever. People were supporting small businesses probably more than ever. So I feel very lucky that I was already in that online presence. But there were definitely things that I could see that I needed to change about our business, and that was a part of our pivoting during that time. So we did open our first store in Middlemount called Friends of the Wild, and that was a store where I could hold brands like ours that want to be showcased in a beautiful space. So that was, I guess, a part of our growth, and it's a beautiful shop, and
I can't wait to come now. I'm like picturing this little store.
Yeah.
For people that are listening, especially for people that are not too familiar with Queensland, where is Middlemount? What's the closest
Our closest hub is Emerald.
Emerald.
Yeah.
And Emerald's near Rocky.
Rockhampton, Mackay.
Gladstone, Mackay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of in the middle.
It's in the middle.
Yeah, it's in the middle of Mackay and Rocky.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah.
Because I would have no idea where Middlemount is.
Yeah, not many people do. They either don't or they know someone that's lived there before.
Of course, because a lot of the mining towns are around that area.
Yes.
So moving forward, what's some of your plans for the future? What do you want to achieve as an Aboriginal woman in business?
I want to continue growing Buck Wild. That's our passion. I want to grow our shops because I do have one in Ingham as well. I also did a country music festival this year called...
Tell me about that.
Buck Wild Country Barn Session. So
you actually put on your own country music festival?
Yeah, I just felt like...
Why not? Well, you just got 3 kids under 6, you've got 2 stores that you're running, and you decide to literally curate your own festival.
Yeah. So
is it because there's not much going on that you just felt?
It was very quiet at the time.
Yeah.
A lot of country music artists have supported my business through everything. So I think I wanted to give back to them in a way. And it was a really beautiful, intimate, family-friendly event, which it's hard to take kids to festivals. I'm sure everyone can relate. So I wanted to create a very intimate, family-friendly festival.
Where was this festival?
In Townsville.
In Townsville?
Yes, at the NQ Elite Rodeo Grounds.
Wow.
Yeah.
There you go.
We had 500 people come, and it was a beautiful night.
Your first festival?
My first festival, yes.
So in terms of what's on the horizons, are you thinking that you could actually do another festival?
I would love to do another festival.
You love to?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Who performed? Was there some big names in Australian country music?
Yeah, we had James Johnston, Southbound.
Southbound?
Yeah.
Okay, I remember Southbound when they first released their first ever song.
Yes.
Because where did they send it to?
Yeah.
Murray Radio.
Yeah.
Yeah, Southbound. Yeah.
We had Jake Davey, Chelsea Berman, Al Regan, and a few other beautiful local artists. So yeah, it was a beautiful night. And it was an all-round experience. We had line dancing, paint and sip, and it was all set out with picnic rugs, and it was just a really intimate,
a family vibe going on.
Festoon lights. It was very beautiful.
I love it. Well, make sure next time you give me some notice. I'm coming.
Yes,
do you reckon you'll go back to Townsville and do it in Townsville?
We have a beautiful venue there, so I hope so. Yeah.
Love it.
Yes.
In terms of country music and our mob, there are a lot of Aboriginal up and coming. Mm-hmm. Well, let's think Jessica Mauboy.
Yes. Yes.
She was at the Tamworth Country Music Festival busking.
Yes, it's amazing, hey?
And look where she is now. So country music is part of our families, right? We've grown up with it. A lot of our young kids, you know, I know in Mount Isa they've got the big rodeo. It's the biggest day or event of the year in Mount Isa. Our mob, are drawn to country music, but also a lot of Australians love country music. So do you find that you've got more white Australians or non-Indigenous Australians wearing your clothes? How do you know who's buying?
It's hard to know who's buying, but I know we have a beautiful community of friends and family, and they're our biggest supporters, and word of mouth in our communities is better than anything, I think. That's how we started with our friends and family. So, yeah, it's hard to know who's buying, but I hope that my Indigenous, Aboriginal, Torres Strait Islander people are wearing our brand and proud of it. So I hope they are, and I think they are.
All right. I'm getting online. I support as many Indigenous businesses as possible. Barada Country is an Aboriginal business. They're supporting an Aboriginal, entrepreneur, and that money goes back into your business, your family, your community. In terms of growing your business now, do you employ, if you've got Aboriginal employees?
Yes, I do.
What does that look like? What does, I don't know, the back of house look like?
Yeah.
Or the front of house?
So our Ingham employee is a proud Aboriginal woman, and the lovely lady, Shauna, hi Shauna, is a mother to two beautiful Aboriginal daughters.
Wow.
So, yes.
So you've got women in your business, supporting
Yes.
women. I'm a big supporter of women as well. This is a podcast that's all about strong women, strong business. If you could give advice to any woman, doesn't have to be an Indigenous woman, that's got children, thinking of going into business, what would your advice be? Like if you could just share some words of inspiration or words of wisdom from Lacey.
Just go for it. If you're not sure where to start with your friends and family, because they're your biggest supporters, the most honest advice that you can get, and don't give up and just keep going. There's going to be hurdles. It's going to be hard, especially with children, but they become a part of the journey as well, and they're watching you. Mm-hmm. So I think it's so beautiful that you are able to take them on that journey.
Yeah, and it's clearly been well worth it.
Yes, definitely.
I've never heard of the brand. I'm not into kind of country clothing, but never knew that there was boho country. That's different now. So you've got a new customer here, and I'm going to send all of my family, especially my Auntie Laurel. My Auntie Laurel lives in Eidsvold, and she is a country girl through and through. I already could picture my family loving, especially the T-shirt that you're wearing today.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
So you have created a beautiful product that kind of speaks to people beyond country. Yeah, I can see it already.
Yeah, I think that's something so special about our brand. You don't need to be country. You can be in the city. you can love just boho fashion.
Yeah.
I think it fits in with anything.
Yeah.
You can dress it up, dress it down.
Yeah. And it's just so important to know that, you know, we make up 0.06% of the Australian businesses. There are 2 million Australian businesses in this country, and the Indigenous business sector is 0.06%. So it actually makes good sense, business sense, to invest or buy from us if we're going to create intergenerational wealth, if we're going to break the cycle of intergenerational poverty. Well, being a business owner or being an entrepreneur, for me, is a way out of that cycle. And if people don't know that we exist, then, you know, what hope do they have? So, you know, sharing your story and your journey, I know for a fact is going to inspire a lot of, especially mums.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I hope it does.
Yeah.
It's definitely possible.
It is possible. And starting at 18, you've learnt a lot. Is there an opportunity, I don't know, maybe to kind of share with women in your community? Do you find that people come to you in your community to ask about business or advice or support, or older people coming to you and leaning on you for advice? Do you find that because you've been around, not that you're that old, but you've been in business long enough to have some skin in the game, but you've obviously learnt a lot?
Yeah, I think I'm surrounded by a big group of women in business, and we all lean on each other. I think you need that support network. Even if you've just met them on social media, just reach out, because I think everyone's real and everyone's struggled and have their story and are willing to share it. Don't be afraid to ask for advice. There's definitely people out there that have so much knowledge, and I'm definitely willing to connect and talk to anyone that ever needs that. So I am surrounded by a beautiful group of women in business, and I've got open arms to talk to anyone about it, because it is a tough journey and we've got to be in it together. There's enough space for everyone.
And I love that in terms of just kind of wrapping up, even though we could stay here and up, but we need to go and eat. Wrapping up the yarn, I just want to say, you know, Lacey, to hear, I haven't met anyone in my life, to be honest with you, that backed themselves at such a young age. So much courage and self-belief within you that I never had. And even in my late 30s, I'm still having to kind of that self-talk of backing myself and believing in myself. And I know a lot of our young mob, especially, you know, Indigenous young women and young girls, they just need someone to back them. So I might be ringing you one day for support, and just to try and think about, you know, you've been doing this longer than I have been doing it. There's people that sometimes I feel in my circles that just can't help me or support me. So you could have experienced, you know, business women coming to you, and so you just don't know, or you do probably do know or realise, you know, the value of what you've created, the journey that you've, you know, walked, the businesses that you've developed. I fell into business. It was an accident. I never had a vision or a passion to be in business. So I'm always learning. I'm going to take my business to another level very soon. And I think it's going to really rely on being online. And I don't have that experience yet. So I'm telling you, I'm reaching out to you. And merch, Black Magic Woman, T-shirts,
Yes.
and tote bags. I've started with 2. I'm going to drop a very kind of, I would say, limited edition. So watch this space. And I'm going to send you one of my T-shirts.
And I'll send you one of mine.
So look, on that note, can I just say thank you for
you
staying back late after a really big day to just share a little bit about your amazing business and your journey so far. And I wish you all the best into the future.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you. If you'd like any more info on today's guest, please visit our show notes in the episode description. A big shout out to all you Deadly Mob and allies who continue to listen, watch and support our podcast. Your feedback means the world. You can rate and review the podcast on Apple and Spotify, or even head to our socials and YouTube channel and drop us a line. We'd love to hear from you. The Black Magic Woman podcast is produced by Clint Kerr.
If you'd like to know more about IBA and how they can help you to own your own home, start or grow a business, or invest in your future, visit iba.gov.au or free call 1800 107 107.